I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami, Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother.
Great Mother speaks to us in raw, realistic, and righteousness. Great Mother speaks to those of us who are most alienated from her unconditional love due to our birth mother experience. Here, welcome to Great Mother
Hi,
Speaks
everybody.
to
I know
us
it's been a while,
in
but
raw,
I have
realistic,
really
and
missed
righteousness.
you. I hope everybody's doing
Great
well
Mother speaks
and that this eclipse season is just blessing you, blessing you, blessing you. If you don't feel that it is, these readings are for you. Now, of course, with eclipses, they are relevant for 6 to 18 months during the eclipse period. And, I tell you that if you really want to keep up with what Great Mother is doing, you need to go to mamadramatrauma.info. That's where I've been spending most of my time with the support group and the deck that's coming out. And remember, Great Mother created this deck for us to heal. It's a process. Everybody has their own process. I know I've been living in loving detachment from my mother for 13 years. And this eclipse brought up so much for me still. It takes a while. And so the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck has been having classes. We've been having support groups online and in my community. And so it's been awesome. So I'll get videos up when I can. Great Mother inspired me to share these videos with you. But before I do, what came up for me is that even after 13 years of working with my divinity identity, of being a dearly loved child of the Great Mother Father God. Now say it with me, those of you who've been watching for a while. And those of you who haven't, this channel is Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck that is designed for people with mama drama trauma, a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. In cases where she is unwilling, unable, and unavailable to heal her own trauma, because it is a cycle, in order for the child to be healed, she must or he must learn to live in loving detachment. Okay? Accepting the mother that we have, letting go of the mother that we want so we can accept the one we have. That's when we know that we're healed from MDT. But sometimes even when we're healed from things, we can have little, things that come up. You may have had a hip surgery and you're fine, you can walk, your hip's not broken anymore, but every once in a while when it rains, it might get sore. We're triggered as well. And eclipses have a tendency to do that because they're all about balance. They occur to balance the Earth's biosphere, the animal kingdom, our waters, our internal waters were made up of at least 70 to 80% water. It's a balancing mechanism that Great Mother Father God have for us to sustain life on this planet. Things get out of balance, right? And so it happens internally as well. Everything starts from spirit before it's manifested in physical form. So the moon and the sun do their thing. And so, long story short, with what happened to me, starting with the new moon, what came up for me, and this is what the solar eclipses, it always happens in the new moon. Solar eclipses reveal to you inner wisdom that we have been denying, we've been ignoring, we've been minimizing, that we haven't prioritized for whatever reason. There's no judgment, no condemnation, no tea, no shade, but it's something important that we have not looked at. Okay? And so that's what solar eclipses do. They bring up what needs to be brought up for us to acknowledge for our highest good. And then they're followed with the lunar eclipse that is all about who we truly are. So we have the solar eclipse, it's about who we think we are, but then the solar eclipse really shows us what we really need to know that's going on with who we are. And then the lunar eclipse is telling us what needs to be released in order for us to fulfill our true identity, in order for us to fulfill who our soul is. So what came up for me during the solar eclipse was that I needed to pay attention to how I was communicating to people. I needed to really pay attention to my perception of what people were saying to me and how I was interpreting conversations, because I was just really getting short and really getting irritated a lot with people and feeling like I knew what they meant and this and whatever, and really getting triggered with a whole bunch of MDT, getting deep into that. And so I knew it was out of balance, but then when the solar eclipse came, it confirmed it. You need to pay attention to that. So in the interim since then, what this lunar eclipse has shown me, and I'll just give you an illustration. Me and my man went to the movies this past weekend. We went to go see that movie Crawl. It is crazy. Live in Florida. Had to see it. It's a good movie though. I didn't think it was going to be good, but it is. And has a lot of spiritual connotations. I wasn't expecting that. We were driving in the car and we were talking about a guest visiting, as we often have in Florida, and going back and forth about what we're going to do and everything when they came. And we were driving up to the theater or whatever like that, and he was like, okay, we're in the present now. We're in the present. We need to be in the present, so let's go. And I was like, what? You the one brought up the conversation about planning for the future. Now you're going to tell me, it's, you need to be in the present, like that, because I'm always telling him that. And so I thought he was bringing it back on me. And I snapped. And he looked at me like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Come on, let's go to the movie. We're in the present. And it came to me like that from Great Mother. That's what I meant, Tammy. That's what I meant. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that no more to people, because it's hurting you more. You see, he wasn't even paying no attention to what you're tripping on. But you were feeling so angry and so upset because you were interpreting it as judgment and condemnation. Like he's judging you for not being in the present, because that's what you was doing when you were telling him to be in the present. Girl, stop. You don't know what people are chilling. They're not coming at you like that. You coming at them like that. Stop. So, Great Mother is so merciful. It's so graceful. And I'm so grateful because that has taken such a load off my shoulders. Just not carrying that weight around of knowing what everybody's thinking. Anyway, Great Mother wanted me to share that with you because living and loving detachment is a process, and loving detachment is accepting what is. And what is what is. It is what we think it is in the moment, in the time. And we have to work with where we are. And so over 13 years, I've been in many places with accepting what is, accepting that my mother was an alcoholic, accepting that she didn't want to have a relationship with me, accepting that she couldn't accept me for who I am, accepting that, she judged me and condemned me for doing the voodoo, talking to Great Mother, accepting, it's a long journey of accepting what is. And this eclipse came up, and they normally come up during eclipses, by the way. Accept the fact that you are allowing yourself to be triggered by that judgment and condemnation from MDT, that blame. You're triggering yourself, girlfriend. Stop it. You've been conditioned to do that, but you don't have to keep on doing that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. It's keeping you from enjoying your life. And I needed to bring that to your attention so that you can get in alignment with who you are. You are a dearly loved child of the Great Mother, Father, God, who's never judged, condemned, or left alone. Okay? So this reading for each of you, we're going to look at what the solar eclipse brought up for you, your moon sign. And check your moon sign calculator below. I know some of you watch based on your Western moon sign, but it is a 24-degree different with the Vedic in 24 degrees precession. So, for example, I am Gemini moon in the Western and Taurus moon in the Vedic because of the 24-degree difference. And it does make a difference if you really do intuit very strongly. The Jyotish is going to, in many cases, be more appropriate for you, but not necessarily, because there are obviously other aspects to your chart. So, with no further ado, I want you to realize that this reading will show you what came up for you and who you truly are in relationship to Great Mother's support of you at this time moving forward. The entire cosmos is supporting us uniquely and individually in ways that we cannot imagine. But through Great Mother Speaks, we'll have an idea. Come over to Mama Drama Trauma and join us. There's some very affordable classes. The new deck is going to be coming out, so you can pre-order, get into the tutorial so that you can do your own readings to gauge your own process. Thanks for watching. Hi, Capricorn Moon sign. This lunar eclipse is occurring in your 12th house. Now, the 12th house is normally associated with isolation, hospitalization, imprisonment. When we're talking about Great Mother energy, we're really talking about that meditative space. Okay, we're talking about, yes, the ashrams, we're talking about the monasteries, but we're also talking about the space that we're in after we have completed a journey. So you may remember graduating from high school and that summer after graduating from high school, or after having a child, or healing from something major in your life and finally realizing, okay, I'm over that, and that kind of rest period is the 12th house, as well as the last and final days of our lives. And so this is about, for you, being in an emotional space of reflection. Now, this is important because as this eclipse season goes into the new moon on the 31st, you're going to be planting seeds of the maternal. As in the Vedic, the new moon is in Cancer. So reflect well on this season, this sub-season of the Gemini North Node, Sagittarius South Node season, so that when you set your intentions in Cancer, they align with where you are and where you need to be. And the new moon solar eclipse was a sense of thinking that it's time for you to just move forward, to take action on the intuitive guidance that you have received up until this point since August 2017, the eclipse the world stopped to watch. And for Great Mother, that eclipse sparked off her speaking to us specifically about our divinity identity in healing MDT. And so what you have learned since that time, Capricorn moon sign people, has been your healing journey up to this point. And 2 weeks ago, who you were thinking that you are, and who you may still really be thinking that you are, is someone who is ready to take what you've learned into the real world, ready to walk it out, and the contemplation being something that you've really spent a lot of time doing and are ready to just kind of live your life through what you've been experimenting with and what you've been meditating on. Because who you truly are, who you thought you were, is ready to move forward, and who you truly are, this lunar eclipse is showing that you really are someone who is wanting to follow your bliss. You really are ready to go and to live your life and to do what you need to do. You really are ready to pursue what you feel is for your highest good at this time, and leaving the shame, the blame, the guilt of MDT behind. The shame, the blame, the guilt of relationships that are condemning, that are judgmental. You really are in that space at this time, reflecting on this healing journey, coming to realize your divinity. What you may not recognize in your shadow position is that there's a tremendous beauty that has come as a result of all this work that you've done. And it's available for you. With Great Mother, beauty is our power. That's why she is so redundant with emphasizing our divinity identity, because that is all she sees. As Great Mother, she knows that we are in the veil of this material experience, that part of its function is to contrast, as Abraham Hicks says, against that reality in order for us to be purified and for us to grow and evolve through our divinity identity. But she's redundant because she doesn't want us to forget as we go through this process, because it makes the journey a lot easier. So don't forget, there's a great beauty that you have in this process, and this lunar eclipse is wanting to bring that out for you. Of course, we talk about shades and shadows with lunar eclipses, and lunar eclipse is when the sun eclipses the moon. It's full moon, and so the sun then is pulling from the moon that deep emotional energy from Gemini. And for you, Gemini energy has a lot to do with the relationship with the other. And when you talk about Gemini, you're talking about the other. So this kind of duplicitous sense of who you are in relationship to others, but then also reflecting on how those serve you in pursuing your bliss, and how they may make you actually want to run away in fear. Because the pleasure principle is interpreted based on where we are in our journey. And so sometimes it's a pleasurable vibration just to get out of a situation. You know, leave the mama, leave the drama, leave the trauma, you know. That's pleasure. But then you get to another phase of the journey, another lunar phase. New moon energy is solar eclipse. You get to another phase where the pleasure is about following your bliss, which is where many of you are right now. Some of you are acting on running away, and that might be why you don't see your beauty, running away from following your bliss. What you want is to be heard. You want to be heard by your mother. You want whoever and whatever situation is representing Mama Drama Trauma to hear you, to pay attention to you, to recognize you. And what's supporting you in doing that is the energy of Baba Yaga. This is new moon energy, and new moon energy is about intention. So the intentions that you set, new moon wishes for Gemini, are coming forward for you. And they're coming forward and you realizing them. Of course, new moon wishes related to communication, related to how you share your beauty with others, short distance travel, your vehicles, just looking at how you do connect with the other. It's coming. It's coming to fruition in ways that may be kind of scary, in ways that are making you be maybe scary to people. And they're like, well, who is this coming with this, passion and this following their bliss, by all means necessary. So the wanting to be heard in situations that typically have caused you shame, blame, and guilt is a way that you are trying to own your beauty. You are trying to assert your beauty. You are trying to assert, your purpose in life beyond MDT, and, being in a happy place. This is a very active energy for you, I see. Your present status of ego soul alignment, though, is that it's important for you to really maintain a daily practice of centering. So, of course, we talk about meditation, we talk about reflection here. It's a reflecting time for you. It's really important that you do that, because Great Mother is saying that although there are areas that you're realizing your beauty, you're not seeing the half of it, Capricorn moon sign people. You have just come through an entire journey. And some of you may not be able to recognize it for a while. As we see Dorothy here, she's at the end of her journey in Oz, and Great Mother, symbolized by Glinda, comes and tells her, you know, you could have went home the whole time, but we come when we come. Everybody has their own process. You know, it's over when it's over. Click your heels 3 times. Body, mind, and spirit. And it wasn't until she went home, really, you know, that she realized there was no place like home. So there's an indication here that your reflective period will last for at least another month. Now, we know eclipses impact for 6 months to 18 months. And so this is for Capricorn moon sign people. This is very deep release energy with this K2 in your 12th house of Sagittarius. It's very, very powerful. And so K2 doesn't move into Scorpio until April 2020, something like that. So yeah, there's going to be a long release period for you. And, you know, that's a little less than a year away. And so why your soul wants to do this work is that it really wants to get past the illusion. You know, there's just too much BS with regard to what this previous life cycle has revealed. And you're separating the wheat from the chaff. Okay, that's another way to talk about 12th house energy emotionally. Before you can move on, you need to move on with good seed. And you have a huge harvest. And your harvest included a lot of illusion, a lot of things that, as a result of MDT, you had taken on in your life that you know that you don't want to take on moving forward. But you're ready to move forward. And so we need to take into account that this full moon, things are truly coming together. Things are truly coming together for you to do that, just as Glinda came right when Dorothy needed someone to tell her the way home. She had done what she needed to do. She had done what Great Father had asked her to do, symbolized by Oz, to get the broom back, to take her power back. And many of you have done that. You've done terrific work with that, even to the point that you're surprising yourself, you know, some of you. And so how your soul wants you to pursue your bliss is with the understanding that just like this came together in ways that you would have never imagined from your childhood to now, that's the same way your bliss is going to be revealed to you, and you're going to be supported in fulfilling it. It's the same way. You're still holding on to expectations from your mother that as you release the fantasy mother and as you release this demanding love, this way that you want her to be and you need her to be, and transfer those demands onto yourself in a self-loving way. In other words, if you're still wanting her to recognize you, that you begin to recognize your own beauty in a loving way, as Great Mother's saying here, you will meet the crossroads with the power to stand in your birthright, to be happy, healthy, and whole. That's what the ruby red slippers symbolize. And the witch is trying to get those shoes, as she has tried to do since Munchkin Land. But Munchkin Land is gut chakra energy. And you have gut chakra here with the Mother Mary card being the law card of that suit of the gut chakra, And yes, you're wanting to move forward. You're wanting, you know, your gut is telling you it's time to move forward. And as you do what Great Mother has suggested you do in moving forward and following your bliss, you will meet that crossroads and stand in those ruby red slippers she gave you in Munchkin Land, your gut chakra, to move forward in your health, your happiness, and your wholeness, despite those niggling, disruptive, neglectful, abandoning, abusive triggers that come up as a result of your soulmate relationship. You're at the end of that journey. Just Continue to work with the celestial energies that are supporting you to get to this crossroads of the higher will of the throat chakra, to stand in your divinity identity, regardless of anything or anybody trying to take it away from you. It is you. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, and liking. But above all, and most of all, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter.